Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. To those of you who will come in, see ya, guys. I know this is a late show, but see ya. Me and Argun Gunnar, we just had to do it this night. Yeah, it's a must because lots of emotions in this game today. Of
Oh
course,
yeah.
I know my brother Argun Gunnar has a lot to say. A lot of things happened today. A lot of things that concern me deeply happened. But of course, it'd be nice to chop it up with my brother, no other person. You guys know him now. See, Oregon, gonna down. Talk to these
Oh,
people. Oh, oh, oh,
oh.
oh.
Big
How
up,
you
Tony.
doing,
Thanks for having
Oregon?
me
Good,
on,
man.
man.
Talk to these people, man.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. You know why? Because it's a beautiful Saturday. I got up this morning at 6:30 a.m. and I saw my team put 3 points up today. And I'm happy we got the 3 points. Wasn't the best performance, wasn't the worst,
Yeah.
but it's one of those
Mm,
things where Arteta, sometimes you just can't take your foot off the gas. I think we smelt blood.
mm,
We went after them, but at the same time, something was holding us back. But luckily, we got that second goal at
mm,
right at halftime. I thought once we went 1-0 up. I mean, I guess it could have been 5-6-0, 5-6-2 in the end. I mean, the chance that Havertz had with that bicycle kick or that volley or whatever was phenomenal. I mean, we got to give props to their keeper today for Leicester City for keeping them in it. And I'm going to give props to James Justin. What a worldie! What a goal! I'm not a big Leicester City fan,
mm.
but I rate this kid Justin. I wouldn't mind him in the Arsenal squad, to be honest. And I'm not just saying that because of today. I know he's been up and down with Leicester City. He's been the premier. He was a
Mhm.
top target for them. I think about 4 seasons ago, and he did well in the Prem. And obviously, he helped them get back up to promotion. And he scores a worldie at the Emirates. Big up James Justin, right? So with that
Mm.
said, Tony, I'm not bigging up Leicester City. I'm just saying that goal was phenomenal. We had a defensive lapse. The ball hits off Kai Havertz's shoulder. I mean, kind of unlucky, but I mean they came right out of the gate. Right at second half. Leicester City did. So it's not to be surprised that the drop in concentration was going to happen. I still predicted a 3-0, but as the game wore on, I was like, maybe 3-1. Because I could see them doing something. And that Justin goal was phenomenal. If it wasn't for Kai Havertz's shoulder,
Mm.
we're talking 4-1. So anyway, I thought
Mm.
overall it was a,
We're
a, a
talking for
good,
one.
and we got the 3 points. So with that, I'm happy. Jamie
So we
Vardy didn't
got the
really get
three
a see.
points. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. See ya,
Jamie
ladies and
Vardy.
gentlemen. You're welcome to the show. Of course, my friend, my young friend. Yeah, he gets a Paul. Other man is from
Oh,
Finland.
whoa,
My
whoa.
guy, my
Yeah,
young
about a man.
brother. He's a young guy, and he's a guy that's growing, and he's getting to know, what kind of things he likes. He plays ice hockey actually down here in
Oh,
Finland.
nice.
And he's gonna. I want him to become an Arsenal fan. I hope he will be an Arsenal fan, but he joins
Oh,
me
yeah.
down here anyway. Yeah.
Excellent.
Other man, big ups to you. He says it's gonna be another amazing live. Yeah, thanks, other man, for
Hey,
joining
thank
me
you.
down here, man. I
Hey,
hope you're
thanks.
okay. How's your Saturday? And of course, here today is down
Big up.
here with me. It says, cheers,
We'll take
gentlemen.
it.
3 points
Absolutely.
and a city draw. We'll take it. This is where I wanted to really start from today,
Mm.
Argun Gunner. What were your thoughts when you saw Man City and Newcastle get that draw today? Before we now even really get deeper into this Arsenal stuff, because I really need to understand your thought process. What was your emotions? Were you thinking like, hey, you know what? Yeah, the Gunners are actually watching this right now.
Right.
Manchester City, our biggest rivals for this trophy, have just slept up right now, and we just have to go and slap up Leicester City. Like, what was your thought process going through that whole charade of Man City drawing at Newcastle, and how did you see that game initially?
Um, yeah, well, I got up early this morning before the Arsenal game just to look at the score, and I was very, very happy. Uh,
Mm,
Uh, I think I predicted a 4-1 City slacking. I didn't watch the game, but I did watch some of the highlights on YouTube. So I unfortunately, can't comment too in depth on that. But my emotion of it was that let's be realistic. It's the 6th week of football, right? They're going to
Mhm.
drop points. Holland, as good as he is, and as good as Pep is, and as good as the squad is, there's some there's 3 or 4 players in that team that you can kind of scratch your head at, don't you think, Tony? A little bit. You can look at that right, but
Bro, I mean,
not having gas anymore.
see, Argen
KDB
Jr.
and Rodri, that team is dead, kind of.
It, it is Argen Jr. A team that doesn't have Kevin De Bruyne, which is one of the most prolific midfielders. See, he's a stalwart in that Manchester
Yeah.
City team. I know he has been off and on in terms of form, but again,
Mhm.
his presence in that team just gives them. It just puts that gloss all up on it, right? In that
Yeah.
midfield, right? And of course, Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne, even if he hasn't been so consistent in terms of playing. But whenever is chosen or whenever he's present in that Manchester City midfield, goals, trickery in the middle, pocket spaces, these things are going to show up. They clearly missed that today. I mean, if you look at Rodri, I was laughing at that injury, and I'm very
Yeah.
happy I laughed at it because my brother, man, this team can't even carry on with a win without Rodri in both games. So they drew
Let's take a
against
look at.
Arsenal without Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. They
Mhm.
also drew again today without Rodri. I mean, why can't we be calling this team, uh, uh, you know, a one-man team right now? They
Yeah.
can't seem to just get a win easily
Right.
without Rodri in place.
And Holland needs service, right? He's not the type of striker that runs back to receive the ball because he doesn't dribble much, right? He At pace,
Exactly.
he gets 3 or 4 dribbles and it's already in the back of the net. He's not, right? He's not an Aubameyang type where he can come back and receive the ball and make one pass and then be already in the box, right? He has to.
He's a goal poacher. He's a
He's
goal
a
poacher.
poacher, right? He's not what you'd call a dynamo striker, right?
Mm.
He's dynamic, but he's kind of he's 2 dimensional at times, right? He's more than 1 dimensional. It's just you think that if he has an off day, where are the goals going to come
Mhm.
from? And I know that it's still early
Exactly.
in the season, right? Like Foden still has to do his thing. KDB, I'm sure will be back. I think in a couple months. Rodri's obviously done for the season. Oscar
Mm.
Bob, I don't know when he comes back, so I don't want to just totally melt City, as nothing and think that they're not going to compete. The thing is, though, is that we need every competitive advantage that we can get, and with Rodri being
Yeah.
out and KDB being out, this is when we need to take advantage and use the best tools we have in our toolbox to get the 3 points week in week out, whether it's 1-0 at home against Leicester. I would have
Mm.
settled with 1-0 today. I would have liked 3-0, but as the game progressed, Trossard with a great goal, Martinelli gets a goal today, gets his confidence back. Um, and then the 2 goals towards the end. I mean, it wasn't the best second half, but again, it wasn't all that bad either. I'm glad we had the possession. We pressured them in their own half for the majority of the game.
Mm.
We did
Mm.
miss Odegaard. I think, like you've said before, Odegaard provides that cutting pass that you need in the final third,
Yeah.
and Trossard
Hmm.
can sort of. But in my argument, right to you, was agreeing. But the other side of the coin of that is Trossard can do that as well, and we saw some of that today, right? I
Yeah.
still think Trossard and Odegaard, you can kind of see them as similar players, right? They're about the same
Mm.
size.
Yeah.
They can both score outside the box. They can make runs. They can
Yeah.
play a nice through pass. They can play a nice lob pass. So I I start to question if Odegaard is that big of a miss. But then I look at today and I think to myself, yes. And I thought to myself, this is what Tony was talking about. This is why we need that clinical attacking midfielder that can continuously open up defenses. And I think we would have
All
scored more today if Odegaard was in the side.
Argen Jr. Could you count how many times you saw Calafiore run
Mm,
deep into the final third of the opposition box? Did you have
eight,
any
nine.
memory? of how many
Yeah,
times he was always bumping forward, trying
it's
to
got to be
even
seven,
create from the middle of the pitch.
anywhere
Did
from
you
six
notice
to 10
Calafiori
times.
in the final
Yes. Oh,
third today?
absolutely. Absolutely. He
Good.
was even coming back and defending. He's not the best defender, but he did what he did what he was told to do, and he was a menace up there,
He
bro.
did what he was told to do. See,
Yeah.
you know what? Yeah, if we had that creative marshal, that creative spark, do you think Calafiori will be bumping forward trying to create something? Because Calafiori was actually creating some stuff. There was some
Yes.
real deep, intricate moves he was doing.
Right.
Of course, he's a defender. We know he's not a midfielder, but again,
Right.
we are with the way Mikel Arteta is playing. I just don't know why he's bumping forward, why he's moving forward, and all that. But again, I just took a
It's
step back and
impressive.
thought we don't have that creativity in the middle of the park.
Right.
So
But at
what
times,
if Calafiore is just that guy that's just gonna push a little bit forward and go with
right.
numbers and try to create from the middle in any
Okay.
way he could? Because I've seen that guy always bumping forward,
Yeah.
always in the final third. There was even a
Yeah. A
free
long
header he had
time.
in the 18-yard box. So that's what I'm saying. We're missing Odegaard's creative spark. No one is down there to create again. So we have to go with the numbers. We have to push with the numbers. And lucky
Very
for
true.
us today, Leicester City is not really that good in the middle of the park. Who do they have to
Right. Or
actually
their
create
defense.
problems?
Right. Nobody.
Mavidi wasn't
He
really
was
that
an
good,
Arsenal
right?
youth. Did you know that? Did you know he was an Arsenal youth?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Back in the
yeah,
days,
and he to me
and
was their most. Him and Varney were their most dangerous, but they didn't really do much today.
exactly. And
So there you
Ndidi
go.
is not Ndidi of 7 years ago or eight
Right.
years ago or
Right.
something like that. You know, he's
And
turning into a grandpa
is
right
their
now. So
Jorginho. He's their
yeah,
Jorginho.
exactly. So Leicester City don't really have those fast paced players to actually
Yeah.
catch us in transition and really hurt us that bad. Although they did it in the second half. And again, that's where I want to bring your expertise into
Mm,
this case here. So when you're leading 2-0 at the Emirates, you're home, your comfort zone. Yeah.
right.
You you're leading, you're comfortable, you've just gotten a goal from a striker, you know, I mean, you're sitting pretty at
Hmm.
home. You know you're at par with Man City at the top of the table, and then we go to the dugout. We'll come out, and then it just seems like something just unchecks from the boys. The mentality is low. We stopped defending. We we started being. I don't know. It was so erratic for me. Yeah, I couldn't really place my
Was
hand on. This is the problem. Oregon, when we came back for that second half, what was the problem? Because something happened. And I really want to launch an investigation into what happened. Because how can we, Arsenal, I mean, we're the best defensively in this league. We proved that
hmm
last season. Yeah, we have two of the most fearsome centre backs in the world right
right.
now, as a pair in this football club.
Right.
How did Leicester City catch us unawares and put two goals behind our net at the
I
start of the
think
second half? I
I
mean, talk us through it.
yeah,
Big up to Slice, who is down here. Big
yeah,
ups
we
to
got the champ.
Bag of my guy. Big ups to Bag
Yeah,
of Bag of how you doing, man?
yeah.
Who today is down here with us. Oregon, gonna talk to these people, man. Big up Slice, man. And Bag of
I
my
think
guy, my brother.
I think what happened was, we came out of that second half and Arteta just he must have told them just to sit back. I don't think he meant for the whole second half. What I think he meant was sit back in the first 10 minutes of the second half. It's 2-0 up. Let's get our legs back. Let's get our energy back. Get our focus back, coming out of halftime and celebrating a great goal right at halftime, literally. So, you got
Mm.
the energy from that. You come back in the dressing room, right? You get your water break. You listen to what Arteta tries to explain, and and then you go
Yeah.
back out there, right? So I just think that we were still in the mode of sort of celebrating the goal a bit, and maybe there was some confusion on somebody was too far back. I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. All I know is that they had the kickoff, they got the fast break. The next thing you know, it's looked like a header in the goal, but long and behold, it's an own goal by Havertz's shoulder. But with
Yeah,
that
I have
said,
his shoulder.
I I think
That
what
was a
happened
weird
was
goal in itself, man.
it was a weird goal.
Very
Yeah,
weird
it was a
goal.
weird goal. It was what happened was though. I think is
Mhm.
they put that what's the guy's name Bogamontari or Bogamonte. Their center mid pushed
Monte.
up more, And so what we did, right, I think is Party's legs were getting tired, and the Bogomarte guy pushed up more, and so that kind of elevated their midfield a bit.
Mm.
And I think for Justin's goal, they caught us out off a corner kick, I think, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken, and they caught us on a counter, and he just lashed one because he couldn't get into the box because I thought the defending wasn't bad. It just he was in the right place to receive that ball on the counter, right? I mean, if the defender would have been pushed up, he could have taken it and smoked him. It would have been no one. So they still forced him to take an incredible shot, hit the post, and it goes in. Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. There was still, I think it was Gabrielle was there, but you're just a couple feet short, right? A couple seconds late, and stuff like that happens in the Prem. And again, he had no other choice but to shoot that ball. So I want to be clear about that, right? So it's not like they played,
See,
tiki taka, and put one in on us in the 6-yard spot, right? I mean,
Dow, this is where I have a
12 yards.
problem. This is where I have a
Yeah.
problem, yeah. Also, with that second goal that they scored, obviously, it was from, I think it was from the left hand side that they approached, that Justin approached to get that shot in. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, who's to man that place? Calafiori. Now, I've been hearing from different podcasts today of so many podcasters tearing down Calafiori as a defender. For me, I believe it's a little bit over the top. For me,
Yeah,
if you ask
that's what
me,
I'm going
I
for.
think it's a little bit over the top. I think he's just a
Yeah,
new player. This is just his second start in a very fast-paced league
exactly. He was
like the
phenomenal.
Premiership, and this is a very very big shift for him, coming from the Italian Serie A to something as fast-paced as this. Seeing that we need not to tell these fans and these people who are watching us here about Koulibaly and who was tearing
Mm-hmm.
it up in Napoli and came down here and it completely lost it and ran away and went to Saudi
Right.
Arabia. We
He went
need
to
not talk
hiding.
about Skamaka who came down here and they shipped him through UPS and went back to Italy.
Mm,
I mean, and no one even knew when he made that transfer. Come on, I
right.
mean, this is a big shift for Calafiori, yeah. Do
Yes.
you think the lapses that Calafiori has shown you this season with this start, yeah? Do, do you think we should be worried about Calafiori, about this signing? Or do you think
No.
we're just being a little bit reactionary and we're not really giving him a chance to really acclimatize and find his footing and find his way into this league itself?
Yeah, I agree with the latter for sure. I mean, it's 6 weeks. It's a 6 week of football, and like you said
Mm,
before, he's only had 2 starts. And I thought he was immense today. I mean, he went further. He went further past the halfway line than Zinchenko does. So there's some trust there with Arteta that trusts him to get up towards the 18-yard box and lash a shot in like he did. Who was it against? Was it Tottenham? No. Who did he score
mm.
against? Who did he score against to make it to? I don't remember
That
now.
was Man City. It was Man City.
Man City.
It was
Yeah,
Man
thank
City.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one he
Hmm.
lashed against Man City. Thank you. So
Yeah.
if and he's tall and he's physical and he's fast. So I think that's what gives him the more opportunity to get up there and create chaos than Zinchenko, right? Who is small, demeanor, gets knocked off the ball easier. I think what we
Mm,
really see now with Calafiori is a raw talent, right? It's going to take time for him to really bed in and really learn the craft of being a defender and also being an inverted left back. Because I mean,
mm,
really, what it did, it just pushed us to a 3-4-3, right? That's all it
yeah.
really did. So again, with Gabrielle, Saliba, and Timber or Ben White back there, I'm pretty confident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're gonna, I'd rather Calafiori be inverted than Zinchenko. Is my point. And if we're gonna do inverted, we might as well do it with Timber, and we might as well do it with Calafiori. Zinchenko has to go. You and I know this. Calafiori and Timber have already earned the left back spot, and then we have Tomiyasu who can play there as well. So I like what I see with the fullbacks. But there's some games Calafiori's not going to be able to do that, and it's going to be up to
Hmm.
him to know, excuse me, when to push up and when to stay back. Right? I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't realize I was listening to another podcast. No, actually, the one with TJ yesterday, and I realized now that Calafiore was someone that many teams were looking at before the Euros, which I didn't realize that. Like Juventus had him as one of their top center back signings for this summer, and we pipped Juventus to him. So, and I can see that player there. I mean, you can see it, Tony. The defensive IQ for the Prem is
Yeah.
going to work itself out, right? I got to give props to Arteta. He's done an incredible job now with Gabriel. Now that Saliba's here, I wish he wouldn't go out on loan so long, but the loan thing is water under the bridge. That's done. He's here now, so I can comment with him being here, and he's been fabulous. Ben White, I think he's been a little up and down this season, but still one of the best right backs in the league. So I'm pretty good defensively. What I want to see is more open play attack, and we got that today. We got what we asked for. Remember, we were just asking for the lads to put it on them today, and they did. I thought Martinelli was fantastic in the first half. I think he obviously knows that there's an issue, right? He knows he's not performing.
Oregon, I still have a problem with Martinelli in this team. It's just that I don't want to make it something that we should be talking about all the old time.
What if he scores against PSG?
Did you see the goal? I mean, did you see the first chance he threw away? Did you see the first chance he threw away?
That bad touch. Yes.
Oh my God.
Bad touch.
It doesn't get
horrible touch.
Oh my! See, Oregon, it doesn't get easy as that to score the first goal today.
I understand.
What are we doing here, man? I mean, that was a clear chance.
He got his justice. He got his justice today. I'm telling you, brother.
I mean, Martinelli should be putting in 3 goals comfortably today.
Yep.
On a
he should
good
have had
day.
a brace today.
You get us over the line today.
Maybe it's going to take time.
He threw away. It was completely horrible. And again, I think the defender was actually having those one-on-ones with, on the left-hand side. It was just having pure joys. It was one-on-ones. He could take the guy, he could dribble, he could do anything with the guy. The guy could just, what he could only do was to push back a little bit. Nothing he could do. He couldn't tackle, he couldn't do anything. His pace was so much for the guy. But again, that final touch, he doesn't. It has left him, and even that goal he scored, he didn't really time it. It was a little bit scrappy for me the way he just hit it. But
Tony, come on, man!
You're not confident in front of goal.
You're dropping C4 on the kid, bro. What are you doing? You're blowing this kid up, bro. Here's the thing, Vlad.
I mean, he's not so confident the way. Bro, me and you have seen Martinelli that scored 16 goals 2 seasons ago. We saw that guy as a killer. The Martinelli I'm seeing now isn't a killer. That's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. And when you don't have a prolific number 9 right now, you need wingers that are killers. Because Saka, we know he's going to score 20 goals this season. But for Martinelli, we don't know. We're not sure. We don't know if he still got that killer instinct he usually got.
What I'm saying is, we know it's been a long run. It's been a problem. We know that, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you that Martinelli knows that. He's not a jackass. He knows he's not performing, and he knows he's getting basically almost lucky to be starting game in and game out, because if we had another young winger that was better than him, that that wasn't Trossard and maybe not Sterling, because he's still getting his feet wet, that mystery player would probably be starting over him. But the fact that Arteta's given him chance after chance after chance, he knows that he's lethal, right? He still brings value to the side. Like today, I mean, if he didn't score, I know he fluffed his lines on the first one. Oh shit, right? But then what does he do? I think 5-10 minutes later, he puts one in the back of the onion bag. Yeah, it's not the most beautiful looking goal, but scrappy goals, bro. And I was so happy for him. I was so happy.
But when you're Martinelli,
he got the assist for the second goal as well. And he got the assist.
You just have to be clinical. You have to be clinical.
No, you have to be clinical. You're right.
No, I agree with what you're saying, Oregon Gunner. All
Right.
I'm just saying is, okay, good. If he had scored that first goal, yeah, chipping that second
Right.
one, we'll be three up, and then we wouldn't
Right.
even be in this 2-2 mess we were in the first place, thinking of how to come back from. See, that's what I'm
I
saying.
get that.
Take your
I understand that.
chances. Take your chances. That's what I'm saying. And
Those
Martinelli is not
those
just.
Leicester scored had nothing to do with Martinelli, bro. I mean, he wasn't. He did what he was supposed to do today. He, like you said, he put him on the back foot from the kickoff. That right back was on toast for the first 10 minutes, and he almost scored on him, right?
But
And
again,
then
but
the
that's what you should be expecting from Martinelli, right? That's what he should
yes,
do. We
yes,
know
but
he has that in his
certain
wheelhouse.
teams he
But
won't be able to do
again,
that. And other
his
teams it's going to be a
scoring
lot different.
is not prolific enough.
It is not.
You know we don't have a prolific number nine. We do need our left
Yes,
hand side
I
to
know
be
this.
pumping in
I know
goals.
this. I know this, my brother.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, he
I
scored a
know.
good goal today, no problem.
Right,
I
and
hear
the
that.
assist,
I
the
hear
assist,
that. But we
and the
demand
assist was
more. Is
hard.
that a problem, or for us to
No,
demand
no,
more from
absolutely not.
Martinelli?
It's
He
not.
should have
No, no,
scored
no,
two,
no,
three
no, no, no,
goals.
no.
We won't even be under the
Listen,
same pressure
listen to me
we
now
were
and hear
in
me later.
today.
Listen to me now and hear me later. The thing is, it's not bad. Again, he's been out of form for a long time. Today was the beginning of the redemption. Today was the beginning of the redemption. A goal and assist, and he had the right back on toast for 60 minutes of the game today, Tony. And yes, I
I agree.
expect that now. I expect those performances. But
But
again,
do you
it
agree he
was
should have
privileged
scored
to
like three
send him.
goals today? Do you
It was.
agree he should have
I
scored
think he could have had a
clean,
brace
easy three
today.
goals?
He could have had a brace today. He should have bagged the first one, and he'll go back and look at the film and say, I should have bagged the first one, right? I mean, strikers are going to miss goals, and that's what I keep saying, Tony. No matter what, you get Goikarez in there, you get Mbappe in. No matter what, Mbappe's going to miss chances. Goikarez is going to miss chances. Saka's going to miss chances. Havertz, etc. Right? That's
Yeah.
football. But the thing is he came back, he got the goal, and before halftime, he put a beautiful assist into Trossard, who bagged a great goal, 2-0 up. And then we shit the bed in the first 5 minutes, and then James Justin scores a worldie, and we get 7 minutes extra time and score 2 goals. I mean, I loved the match, to be honest. It was back and forth. It wasn't as controlled as I had hoped. But to be honest, Tony, it's like we didn't give up. We kept pushing, and we got the goals and the 3 points today. And Martinelli to me had an 8.5 performance, bro, because he had the right back again on toast. Of course, he needs to lift his head up more, but he lashed a couple of balls
Yeah.
across the face of goal and got the assist to Trossard and the goal. That's an 8.59 performance. And if he's going to go from
Yeah,
bum
yeah, I
to a
hear
9
you. I
performance,
hear you.
I'm all for it, bro, because you're right. And I think in his mind, today will set the standard, and hopefully he does this thing against PSG, which is going to be a lot more difficult than Leicester City. So I don't know.
Again,
Big up everyone in the
I
chat.
think I think we're dancing too early about this Martinelli goal today.
Probably,
I mean, this is
6 weeks of the season,
let's be
Tony.
frank. This is
6 weeks of the
Leicester
season.
City.
He's got what 2-3 goals.
Let's be frank. This is Leicester City. This is not Manchester City.
True,
This is not
true,
PSG. This is not
true.
Atalanta. We've played all these people, and we saw his performances. This is a poor Leicester City side. And of course, him getting that goal, yeah, it's good. Him getting the assist, yeah, it's good. But again, we already know that Martinelli can put players on toast. This is what we know. It's in his
Right.
wheelhouse to do that.
He had some end
Where I have a
product
problem
today,
is
right?
is not getting the goals that I need from that side. And again, when we're talking Oregon Gunner, always keep it in mind that we're talking about winning the league. I mean, we should be taking the advantage right now to pump in more goals because the way I'm seeing it, Chelsea, well, Chelsea, I mean, the way they're scoring goals for fun. I mean, the one 4-2 today. The other day it was
Mhm.
a couple of goals too. The pumping in goals. So we need to step up our goal margin. And mind you, we don't have the luxury of having a number nine who will prolifically give us those goals this season. So we need our left hand side to at least help out with those chunk of goals. Liverpool is scoring goals. Chelsea is scoring goals. Man City, we all know they will score more goals. So
We put
we need
four on
our
him
left
today,
hand
bro.
side giving us that.
We scored the most goals out of any team in the league today. I think Chelsea. Oh no, Chelsea had 4.
No,
I mean,
no, I know, but again,
overall,
specifically, we're talking about Martinelli. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
Martinelli didn't
This is
score a hat trick
right.
today.
You're
That's what I'm
right.
talking
I,
about.
I think
So,
today
I mean,
Martinelli was one of the shining stars today. And I mean, we
I
can
hear that, and I
overcritique
agree.
it and keep going. And I agree with you 100%, and I think the chat would too. This is the Martinelli we need to see week in and week out. This is how he'll earn his spot week in and week out, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
don't know what I mean. I wanted him to score that goal, Tony, early, but again, Mbappe misses, Holland misses on occasion, and he took a horrible first touch.
Mm.
I was even watching Lee Gunner, and the moment he touched it, you can hear Gunner just say, "Oh, horrible shit touch," right? I mean, it's just like, yeah, but that was like the first 10 minutes of the game. I mean, I don't think these muscles are barely even warm up. I mean, I just think like a lot of folks who like you've Tony, who've played the game, and many of you in the chat, and those who haven't, it takes time to get in the game, right? Like scoring a goal in the
Good.
first 5 or 10 minutes is very,
It's
very
good you
rare.
said
In
this.
all honesty, it takes
Oregon
time.
Gunner,
He's out of
Oregon Gunner.
form.
You know what? Yeah,
I think we have
Oregon
bigger
Gunner. You
problems
know
than
what? Yeah,
Martinelli
it's
at this moment.
good. Oregon Gunner. I like why you said that. I like how you said that. Now let's
Nice
move on to
segue
something more similar. Let's
for
get into
sure.
something more similar. Last weekend, a certain player got red carded from a crunch game against Manchester City. That was
Right.
the lowest point of that game for me, and I felt
Agreed.
that led to a chain reaction that got us to even draw that game in the first place. That game should have been wrapped. It was a wrap. It was a win for Arsenal. Big ups to Arsenal X-rated Aaron. Big ups to you, man. Slice is still in the house. Hendon Gunner just joined us. Big up to these guys. Yeah, you guys are welcome. Uh, See, yeah, Trossard came into the team today. He knew what happened last weekend, came
Right.
back today, redeemed himself, got 2 goals, tap, tap, boom. Even the first goal, he didn't even look. See, it was a no look tap in. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Right.
how to redeem yourself. We're talking about Martinelli and redemption today or whatever. But again, we
Yeah.
see Trossard, the criticism he faced last weekend, people calling him
Mm,
shit, people calling him an idiot, people calling him stupid. I,
right.
I mean, it's good and okay. But that's how you answer your critics. That's what you
100%.
do to your critics. He did that
I agree.
today. And he did not just score 1 goal, he put in 2 goals confidently. I mean, next week I want to see him in my starting 11. Now, Oregon Gunner,
You
that's
will.
what I'm talking about. Coming back from the abyss, showing that
Hmm.
you still got it. You're Arsenal's most naturally gifted striker right now as we speak. When you're talking of a technically gifted striker, maybe Havertz might come into play because of his aerial ability, his ability to actually bamboozle players and push his way through to score goals. I get that. That's a technical aspect. But when we're talking about a naturally gifted striker, I mean, Trossard ticks the whole boxes for that. And for him, that we were all abusing him and criticizing him last weekend. And this week he
Right.
comes in,
Well,
puts two
let's
goals at the back of the net, helps
right.
out in creativity, scores those goals. I mean, come on, man.
Well, right,
Trossard,
right. Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear about his
he
stupidity.
hit the ground running today, bro.
Right. Let's be clear about his stupidity, though. We were mocking his
Mm-hmm.
dumb mistake. We weren't mocking his technical ability as a footballer, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
missed him. We knew he would be on that left side when we were defending for our lives against City. So yeah, he made a big mistake, and you're 100% right. Today was redemption day, and him especially, even more so than
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli. You know, if I have to look back, I'm giving him a 9 today if I have to, just slightly over Martinelli. Both of them together today was redemption day, and I can hear Bob Marley in the back of my head with redemption song. So I know the points were meant to be today, blood. I mean, it's one of those games where again we had the upper hand and defensively we switched off. They had a worldie.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that worries me the most is that I think Saka is fresh out of ideas, bro. I think I think he played well today. What did you
Mm.
think of Saka? I just think that when he's not putting it far post with his left foot, what's he really offer?
No, I mean, Martinelli had a more better game today, if you ask me, yeah, than
Yeah,
Bukayo Saka. But again,
He was
I
busy,
just
but
feel like Bukayo Saka is that kind of player that he's not gonna perform, you know, at his utmost best in every game. We saw
right.
glimpses of this last season. To be very sincere, I still think that Bukayo Saka is playing with an injury. But I don't
Mm,
know because for me, we're not really seeing him, dominating these games, making those deep dashing runs. Eh, those goals are beginning to dry up. In some cases, or
right.
maybe the team eh, eh, are now finding more dynamic ways to actually score goals without him. Maybe we're now more reliant on our set pieces. Maybe we're now more reliant on our flying fullbacks. I mean, you could attach it to to so many factors. But I think Bukayo Saka will grow into the season. We've seen it lots of times. Last season, there were times where he actually started slowly, but he was actually giving us the goals. You know,
Right.
every two games. Each game he was trying to chip in a goal or two, and he ended with up to 20 something
Right.
goals last season. So he
You know,
can still do it again. I don't doubt his quality in that. But there will be games where we would see him as drab as this. This game wasn't like a zero performance or four performance, but it
no,
wasn't
not at
a
all.
Saka seven. It wasn't a Saka 7 or 8. It was at best top six or
Mm,
five. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And our friend here to there says he created 8 chances, 8 take-ons. Right. And that's I guess that's my point. He's created 8 chances, 8 take-ons with, and he was, I don't know if he was excellent overall, but he was good overall here to there. And that's what I mean. Those 8 chances, 8 chances to do for what? Was he shooting the ball? Was he putting the ball, in the air? Was he crossing it? I know maybe I'm missing
I think
something, but he seemed
in
at
the
least
first half, he got a
productive.
shot.
Yeah,
In the
the first
first
half
half,
he
he
got a
got
shot off, right?
a shot out, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
wasn't powerful
he
at
had some
all.
shots, but that's my point.
It
It's
didn't have
too
any bite to
one-dimensional
it.
for me. It's too it's too easy, I think, for defenses to figure
Mm.
out, right? And like Bargav says,
And
he can be in and out, and it depends. And of course, it
and
depends on the
and the
opponent who
Leicester
he's with.
right back didn't even double up on him. The defenders didn't even double up on him today.
Right.
He was
Well,
quite free to roam
just
about and cause damage, but
it
he,
was
he
too
wasn't just there.
predictable. I just think he was a
Mm,
little, again, too predictable today. Though he did have lots of chances, but so did everyone really overall here to there. I guess is my
yeah.
point. Is that we all we had, I think, 60 some possession. So you had, even Trossard taking shots. I think Declan Rice took a shot. Calafiore was being a menace. Overall, like I said, Tony, overall today, it was a very good performance, except for the few seconds of judgment. But I was
Mm,
worried. We did miss Odegaard because we needed that final ball today, before
mm.
the 7 minutes of extra time. I mean, I don't know what, I
I
started
mean,
having
what?
remnants of, it looked like they were us against City at times, and we were City, right?
Yeah,
It had
exactly.
very reminiscent look to it.
Oregon, Oregon Guinea, yeah. I'm really thinking that this other guard we're missing, yeah. I think it has more far-reaching consequences than we thought earlier.
Mm,
Because right now, and I've seen in the past two games now, I've seen us play in the Premier League without Odegaard. Saka's game has dropped so low to the extent I'm now wondering, is it just because of Odegaard? So maybe Odegaard is just that guy that just glues this whole thing together because I'm not seeing creativity from the middle of the park. Declan Rice looks drab. I mean,
mm.
it's not
I
looking
thought
like a
he was
100 million pound signing. Because Saka isn't really enjoying his game down that right hand side, even if he's not being doubled upon. Because the thing was that hey, they're doubling up on him. They didn't double up on him. He had a normal game today. He had chances to roam about, cut in, and try to shoot. But again, I just really think that Martin Odegaard is being missed in this team. He might just be that guy that glues everything together. And right now we're just really seeing what he brings to the team. Because Saka down and out today, I didn't really. He didn't have a poor game, but yeah, I didn't really see those cutting edge passes from him or thrown to him the way he normally used to get it from Odegaard.
Right. I
So
thought I thought he was definitely offensive minded. It's just again to me, it's just too predictable. Like he just takes it to his left foot, inverted
yeah,
and tries to go in far post. And I get that's what works for him, and that's great that he had eight attempts at that today. We had
mm,
the chat says, Mish says we had 36 overall. I mean, we just absolutely dominated them today, and that's why their 2 goals that they got back was so shocking. You would think that we've learned over this years of months and weeks of doing this that you've got to pay attention and mark your man. It's so frustrating, but again, shout out
mm,
Leicester City for at least trying to defend for their
mm.
life. Because there was a minute there when it got down to like the 82nd minute, I was thinking, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah,
2 points lost. Who's to blame? Right?
there we
And you
go.
start pointing fingers, and it's again, you
Mm.
can't point the finger at Trossard, you can't point it at Martinelli, you can't really point it at Saka. I mean, you can't really point it at Havertz, right? I mean, you got to look at the defense,
Mm.
and so
You
and
gotta look at the defense.
as much as we
Mm.
big up Saliba and Gabrielle, again, they're only human, bro. They're going to make mistakes once in a while. It's
Ooh,
just
it's nice you brought this thing about Saliba, man. Oh my God, did you see that last minute? That last minute pace run and complete,
maybe
absolute, amazing defending from
I'll have to check it out
Saliba.
again.
Oh my days, man! The pace, the way he just took
Yeah,
the ball away from Jamie Vardy. Oh my God! In the final minute, to just deny them a goal. Oh my God, man!
I'm gonna have to check that
Saliba
out.
is a beast, man. To be very sincere with you,
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
guys in the chat, did you guys see what happened when Saliba took that ball away? I think it was Jamie Vardy, man. Bro, Saliba is another planet, man. But it's just that sometimes I just really think that it, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to see this this changes with our back four to be so consistent because
mm,
right now White is out of the team, yeah,
right.
and whoever we have in the in the left hand side isn't there, which is Duran Timber, of course, because they switched roles today, definitely. So it changes the whole thing. So our good defense, yeah, now looks a little
Mm,
bit, suspect in a way. I don't want us to like that's the last sacred thing we should be tampering with. Do you share the same idea with me that we should just stick to that defense that has been the best last season instead of shaking it up too much this season, man? Because we're starting to leak goals. We've now considered 5 goals,
mm,
one just behind. I think Man City have considered one ahead of Arsenal,
mm,
but it's beginning to look leaky in a way. What do you think?
right. Well, I mean, Ben White was out. I mean, he's injured, so you have to rotate, right? But I see if they're all fit, my starting lineup is Timber, Saliba, Gabrielle, and Ben White. I mean, that should be the basis of which you build
Mm,
the squad, right? So, if
yeah,
Ben White's
yeah,
out and we had to put Tomiyasu in, that's what we got to do. If Timber's out and Calafiori fits in, that's what we have to do. I mean, um is it I'm not going to blame the goals that have been scored on the defenders that weren't playing, right? I
mm,
mean, it's not Ben
mm,
White's fault that we got scored on today. He's injured, right? So I I don't know, Tony. I think that's being a tad bit overcritical because the thing is to remember it's 6 weeks of football. We have 32 freaking games to go, right? We have basically 6 times as many games to go, 5 times as many more to play,
mm,
and players
mm,
are going to get injured. Like you said before on the show, we got lucky. The football gods and the stars
mm,
aligned last. We didn't get any real major injuries. So,
mm,
but yeah, it's I don't know if I'm so nervous about mixing the left back and right back that I would be splitting up the center backs, right? You see what I'm saying? Like in any Prem game, there'd be no reason to rest Saliba or Gabriel if they're fit, right? They're obviously the
I
first
mean,
two on the sheet. And that's, I see
see,
your
see,
point.
Oregon,
Like,
that back
you want to
four
get
is the thing
creative.
that has kept us sane for the past 2 seasons. That's the sacred.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
holy grail that has
yeah.
kept us safe. I'm not all up for mingling and doing all this stuff. We're doing with it right now because we're leaking goals and it might just disrupt the
Well, I think
fluidity we've had
looking at that,
in that defense for the past 2 seasons.
right,
That should be sacred. I don't
but
want it to
looking at,
be destabilized.
right, but looking at that, Tony, you've got to look at Jorginho and Party, right? When we start leaking goals, you've got to look at your center defensive mid, right? You got to look at what's going on in the middle of the park, right?
Mm,
That's what I'm saying. These mistakes aren't necessarily the back four, right? But I completely understand what you're saying. You start to mix up players, then the rhythms gets off, right? The rhythm gets off in some
mm.
cases, and mistakes like today and games like today happen, right? When you go
It
2-0 up
happens.
and all of a sudden it's 2-1, all of a sudden it's 2-2, and you still have half hour of football to play. It's like, oh shit, we need to really get our
Exactly.
pull our socks up. No, and I understand
Mm,
that, but you know the thing is that we we've got to really look at Jorginho and Party. If we're going to start leaking
mm,
goals from open play, especially in the central part of midfield, there's no one else to really look at, right? And if
mm.
they're doing open passes and 45-degree passes from the middle to the wings, you've got to look at why those passes aren't being cut off. And you've got to look at Jorginho and Party, right? They're
Mm.
I think they're just done. But not in the sense that like their careers are completely over, right? They're just not of youthfulness anymore.
Not
And we
anymore.
know for a fact there's younger and better players out there that we could probably get for less money, right? I think
Mm.
Party's on a pretty decent wage. I know Jorginho is because he signed a new contract,
It's under new contract. Yeah, exactly.
right? So,
And those are the
so
things those are the
I
things
think
to address also in the January transfer window.
we need
We
to
should
think.
address this thing.
So going back a bit, I think we need to really kind of stop and think about where Timber and Calafiori are at this point, right? Basically, Timber's a brand new signing,
Mm,
essentially, right? So he's basically a brand new signing.
essentially.
Um, and both of
Mhm.
them, we got to say, have done well. They've done well. I'm happy with
Mm,
the way the defense is going. I'm happy with that. We have some variety in our left back and right back. I've always kind of wanted to think that if you can play left back, you can kind of play right back as well, regardless of what foot you are, left or right, because either one is
mhm.
handy on both sides. To be honest, if you're good
Yeah.
with both feet, um, But again, I think the real weakness is we've got to look in the center of the park. Rice being out of position at times. He may have been out of position for that Justin goal because it was on
But, but
his
again,
side.
what's wrong with Declan Rice? You know what? Yeah, I know he's that kind of guy. Yeah, that pops up everywhere. You know, he's that kind of guy that gives you a little bit of everything everywhere. Mikel Arteta demands
Right.
him to be a box-to-box kind of midfielder. I get that. He has to leave his position most of the time. He has to help out defending and protecting the back four. I really do get that. But again, do you think this is really getting to his game, man? He's really looking a little bit down and in a sunken place that it's so difficult for him to just wriggle his way through out of that sinkhole that has been built for him. Not that he dug that sinkhole by himself, but it's something that
Mm,
has been dug for him because I, I do think that if you leave him there to express himself holistically, the way he usually does in a West Ham shirt, he shines almost all game. He
right.
is their guy. I never
Well,
see him missing.
he's the
But
best
again,
apple
in
of the
a
bunch,
Villa shirt, I mean, I'm seeing Declan Rice here missing in the middle of the park, and it's this 6 foot plus guy here, big, huge. he has that physical presence. He's not that
Mhm.
guy that should normally disappear in the mix of things. He's that kind of guy that should be towering and should be imposing himself everywhere that he is. There were spells in
Right.
that match that I didn't see Declan Rice for like about 4 5 minutes straight. I like I'm serious, bro.
But no,
I
but
could hardly
again, that
identify he was there.
could be good
No,
or bad, right? That's
that's not a
the
criticism to
business of
him.
getting
I'm
called
just trying
out.
to get answers.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
I
trying to
get what
get
you're saying,
answers.
and this isn't the first time you've said that. This isn't the first time you've said that. I will admit you have a point. This is, again, not the first time you've said this. There is times where he does go a bit quiet, but to me, that's because
Hmm.
he's kind of doing his job. I mean, he's he's a
Or he's
good
doing
he's a
multiple jobs,
he's a
or
good box
doing
to box
multiple
midfielder.
jobs.
He's getting better, but I don't think he can be everything to everyone, right? Like if you want him to go up top, Tony, and start shooting outside the box, 19, 20 yards out, I'm all for it. But you can't expect him to
Okay,
also be
okay,
back
good.
in
How
defending,
many of
bro.
those shots?
He
Okay, how
can't
many of those shots?
stop himself.
How
Big
many
up
of
Darren
those? How
Sullivan.
many of those long range shots did he take today? I didn't
One,
see
I
any long
believe.
range shot.
I think
I didn't
I
see
think
any
he took
long range
one.
shots from him.
I think
Maybe
he tried
one.
one. I
Good, yeah.
could be wrong, but I know he buried one against Bolton, so I think he took one today, though. But
But again, that's the EFL Cup. But I'm talking of Premiership
I know you're talking
opposition.
today. I know.
Yeah, yeah. So
I don't know.
I, again, I still do think that there are lapses in his game. Okay, I give it to him.
Yes,
Odegaard is out, but
I would
again, man,
agree with
even
some of
before
that.
Odegaard went out, his game has been a little bit, uh, under the weather, just a little bit. I just think we should start having this conversation so we know where the problem really
Let me
is.
ask you this then: do you think Arteta's out coaching him? Do you think Arteta's coaching the talent out?
I just think Ateta demands a whole lot from him.
Right, too much at
That it's
times.
making
Like,
that
that's
yeah,
why I don't
too
want him in the
much.
six, cleaning everything up in
He's
front of the back
defending,
four.
he's in the middle, he's box to box. So it's overwhelming at this point. So I don't. It's just taking the flavor out of him, and I just really think that he's this kind of guy that imposes himself
Right.
in games, and you always see him running the show from the middle of the park, and suddenly he's
That I
just
disagree with.
dropped all of a
I have
sudden.
to
And
disagree with, Tony.
it's
I don't believe there's games that he is kind of the showman and runs about the park. I think a lot of the reason why we don't
no
talk about him,
in West Ham in the West Ham game, he
well,
had a
yeah,
couple
because he's the
in
best
his West Ham
of a
days,
shit squad, bro.
even
They
in
have
an
no one
Arsenal.
else
But
to do
again,
it.
let's don't deny last season he was actually putting up befitting performances last season.
At the end of
He had
last
at
season,
least
he
three to four
wasn't
man
very
of the
good. In the
man
Euros, he
matches
could have been
last
better.
season. But this year I'm not seeing it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that fight.
Right.
I'm not seeing that desire. I'm not. I don't know.
I
I'm not just seeing it.
that part I disagree with. I think the fight and desire is there, but he's not producing the way you want him to. Like I know what you want, bro. I think I know what you want. Is you want him to get the ball, just get it in, and slam it in the top bins of his left foot from 20 yards out. But there's
I
times he
mean,
can do that. He's not going to, right? He's not Xhaka. And by the way, Xhaka didn't do shit for 7 years at this club, except for one season, right? So we're already Declan Rice is doing better than Xhaka
but
because we how
but
we
again, Granit Xhaka
how
isn't a
many times have
hundred
we clicked on
million
Xhaka
plus player.
week
No,
in and
that's
week
where we're
out?
getting it wrong. Granit Xhaka isn't a hundred million plus signing. There's a
The money
clear
spent.
difference.
I get what you're saying. Right.
There-
There's a
There's a
clear
clear
difference.
difference.
But
There's a clear
if a
difference.
bad Xhaka is out there today, if the bad Xhaka is out there today, maybe we lose 3-2. Because that's I think the part you're missing is that's why he's quiet because he's probably doing his job. And again, I don't want him at the six. I don't want him cleaning up in front of the back four vertically on the pitch. He needs to be the
Mm.
box to box, and he needs to get better at that in some games. But I just like today, I don't think he was really at fault for anything. Like I can't really say that he messed
No,
up. There
no.
may have been a couple
See,
balls that
argue,
got past him.
it's not about anyone is saying
I
is
don't
at
know.
fault. There's no fault. I'm not saying there's a fault. I'm just saying that I'm not seeing the Declan Rice that was a little bit dominant last season. Something
Okay.
has dropped. I mean, we have to agree that something has dropped, right? Is it performing optimally like last season?
I just well,
That's a yes or
I
no
just
question.
No, hold on.
Is
Well,
his
I'm going to make
performance
it
up to
not
you?
yes or no. Um, I'm going to put in a couple variables to
Dad, the
that.
answer is no. The answer
Last
is
season
no.
was his first season, so
He's
you
not
saw this
producing the
new
way he
dynamic
produced last
player.
season.
Okay, he has dropped a bit. I'll give you a slight yes.
I mean,
No, whatever you want. No, but
no,
then I
it's
mean,
not whatever I want, but you know it. You know
there's
something has dropped.
right. But back in the day, Blow, there were players in midfield for Arsenal, and you can say it's for any other club, who wasn't really the name. I know he's the name. I know he's got the money, and maybe there's a certain elevation you want him to play at, Tony. But at the same time, if he's not dropping stinkers and he's not being called out by Arsenal YouTube, and if he's doing his job, then that's what we're paying him to do. He's not a
I
goal
mean, but
scorer.
where you go,
I just
Oregon Gunner, I hear you, but
it's
when
not.
you're
No, he
going
didn't
for a
really do that at
title,
West Ham.
again, Oregon Gunner, it's good you said that. I hear that. If you want to be a mid-table team or a top four team, yeah, that's good enough. But if you're going for the league, then everything needs to be stepped up in the middle of the park. You need players that will get you over the line. And if it's that player that right now we can't rely on him to get us over the line, sometimes when we do need someone to bail us out, then we're in for a big problem because we're going, you know, for this title. Yeah, we need our big time players, mostly
Yeah.
our most expensive signing, to step up and bail us out in games like this. How many times will Trossard come and bail us out in games like this? How many
No,
times do we have to
Declan
rely
Rice.
on
Declan
someone
Rice
like
did
maybe
it against Man
Waneri to
United.
even come in? Should we
Declan,
even be thinking of Waneri to come in and bail us out? No, we should be looking at Declan Rice to bail us out. Our big players, our big
I
time
can
players
agree with
who
that.
are earning
I can
big time
agree with
money
that.
to bail us out.
That's a very
So
good point.
that's what I'm
That's a
talking
very good
about.
point.
When you going for the title, it's something different. If you want top four, okay, maybe if he's just doing his job, it's okay.
It's a good
I
point.
get that. But in the conversation of going for the title, and you know that we have these killers all around us wanted
Right.
to get that title. Man City is down there, and their midfielders, there's nothing normal about it. Foden, will step it up. We all know if Rodri was there, we all know
Right.
what will happen. We all know what will happen if Kevin De Bruyne is there. There's nothing normal about it. There's
Right.
nothing. I don't know how to put it, but
No, I get what you're saying.
that's how I see it, man.
I still think that it's to be expected that there's times that I think Declan Rice is going to be in and out.
Mm.
Um, and you're right. I mean, that's 105 million price tag, and as much as I want to put that behind me, in the back of my mind, you've got a good point. It's like, what did we really buy? What is he going to do differently? And there's times where nothing, you visibly see nothing that he's doing is, how can I say, productive in a way. But a big but with that is that when he, when you don't hear his name mentioned by commentators, when you don't hear, later on after the match or during watch alongs, YouTube commentators saying how bad he is or this or that, he kind of gets off on a, kind of gets let off a bit, I think, of criticism. But I still think the worth ethic
Okay.
is there, Tony. And I hopefully he can just get
No, I know.
better.
You see, all
I
you're
mean,
looking at these things
I
always happen. We will come back to this topic again. We
yeah,
will
it's
come
a
back to
hard
this
one.
Declan Rice topic again.
Yeah,
It might be too late by that time. We will talk about this again. I bet you we will talk about it.
right,
Because when we don't have players to bail us out again, then naturally, we'll be forced to start looking at the big wigs of the team, and we'll start looking at Declan Rice and his performances.
right,
So either way, we can skip it and say, okay, he had a good game today. Good, I hear that. But again, is that enough for us to win the title? Because I'm looking at Man City as a weak team right now. They have two
right,
of the most biggest and most influential players out. We should be using this time right now to make sure that our players and their heads and their mentality are in it. We shouldn't be going for anything mediocre. We should be thinking of, hey, stepping it up and getting us
Right,
wins.
and
So
that's where I think
I don't know.
Declan Rice, but I think the Declan Rice's mentality is that, right? His mentality, you can see, no matter what on the
Okay.
pitch, is to win, 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 right? But now, if his body lets him, score goals, if it allows him to, get back in, half a millionth of a second to defend, I mean, that's even better. But the reason we bought him is to bring stability also to that left side and to bring stability in front of the back four. Him putting goals in at, 20 yards or whatever out just on the 18-yard box is a bonus, right? So if he's not, but what he's not going to do
What
is
do you
play
think?
that
What do
fancy
you
flick
think if
through ball that
Merino?
Odegaard plays.
What do you
What,
think if Merino comes into the game next weekend? Yeah, and it completely changes the aura of that midfield. It puts him on work rate. It looks more better. He's bumping forward. He's doing defensive duties. But again, you see him outshine in the middle of the park. Do you think that would affect Declan Rice in any way?
hmm, that's a good question.
Because Merino can also play that Jack role if you want him to do that. He can do that.
Right.
It's in his wheelhouse. So
I don't.
then you ask yourself that question: do you really need Declan Rice if Merino is giving you performances
Yes,
that
because
Declan
then
Rice should be doing?
then
Now
then
there will be those conversations.
I would want. Well, no, I think it's a given that he moves into the six. No matter what, you keep Declan Rice on the pitch,
Hmm.
right? So you
Oh,
just sacrifice
oh, no matter
Jorginho.
wait, no matter what, you keep Declan Rice on the pitch.
Yeah. Who else is the engine? Who else in
No,
the
no, no.
midfield
So
has
so if
legs the
so,
engine?
if his form is really down right now, and he's not really putting in performances that helps the team, you should think we should field him. He shouldn't be benched in any way. He should have a
No,
divine
I thought you
right
meant,
to just
okay. I
be in
guess
the
I thought
middle
your
of the
question
park.
was if Moreno comes in, what do we do with Declan Rice? Of course, any player should be benched if they're crap, if they're having, except for Martinelli, right? I mean, right? But he's today's redemption day, right? But I
See,
mean,
yeah,
yes, of course, when players are out of form, they need to be benched. But you have to have competition. And why don't we have
yeah.
competition? Because we didn't do what we needed to do
We
again
didn't
in the
do the
transfer
business
window.
exactly,
So it all
exactly.
leads back to Edu being a complete jackass prick and not getting in
Yeah,
the striker that we needed, not
totally
getting in the
agree.
central mid we needed, and not getting in the
Totally agree.
defensive mid we needed, and again not getting back up for Saka.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Big ups to Mish. Big ups to you, man. How you doing, Mish? Joanne Smith is down here with us.
Yep, yep.
Sullivan is also down here with us. Big up, Sullivan. Sullivan, how you doing, man? I've not watched your video tonight. It'd be nice for me to go watch your post-game analysis on Instagram and probably on Facebook too. Big ups to you, man. Bag of you down here with us. Joanne Smith, how you doing? Hope your weekend is great. See here, Argun Gunner, man. Waneri.
Yeah.
Waneri. Man, what do you
My
think about
center
this kid,
attacking
man?
mid.
When he came in, you could see flashes of, brilliance.
Yes.
Flashes of I'm not saying he's a complete product, guys. Hear me out. I'm not saying he's a complete package yet, but again, you could see glimpses of, that kid. He
Yeah.
understands it. He
He
understands.
understands it. He
Like,
gets it
like did he
already.
did he get that same fever, that I got watching him today? At least after his
Yes.
performance against Bolton and seeing him do that when he first came in.
He was brought on today when we needed that spark. Remember, we kept pushing and pushing to get that third goal, right? And it just wasn't happening because we didn't have the right players out there. And if I remember, he substituted Party for him, right? If I remember correctly,
Yeah,
I think he substituted Party for him, which was a brilliant move. Every time the ball came out to Party around the box, I'm begging him not to shoot. Don't shoot, Party. Don't shoot. Pass the ball. Pass the ball. But and Wari got out there, and he was in the box right with Saka. So he had Saka on the outside, Leicester City, and Wari, and Leicester City player right in the box, right? And this is where I thought towards the end of the game,
mm,
Saka excelled. I thought he was actually better in the second half than the
yeah,
first in some cases because he was able to work with one area a bit to kind of mix up
mm,
those Leicester City defense. right? They didn't know which way that kid
Yeah.
was going to go. He was going to go. He was dropping the shoulder left, going right, spinning around, and that's the
Yeah.
creative thing we need. And in fact,
And he
Odegaard
has
needs
an
to take.
amazing pace. His pace is oh
Yeah.
my days. There
Odegaard
was
had
even a
better take
complete
notes.
360. There was even a complete 360 he did with the ball in the final third of Leicester City.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah. He
the
spun that
guy
kid.
is
He spun somebody
confident.
around.
His dashing runs is like there's this confidence seeping through this guy that I just feel like, okay, you've you've created that buzz now. It's now down to the
Hmm.
manager to actually manage you and try and fit you into the plans. Now, to the manager, do you think Mikel Arteta can actually manage Waneri in a way that it could actually, uh, you know, use him in this Arsenal team to get
Well,
the best out of him, while also trying to develop him in that way that would just make
mm,
him that kind of Rico Lewis, make him an Oscar Bob. I mean, do you
oh,
think
this kid's better
Mikel
than Rico
Arteta can
Lewis.
be able to? I mean, do you think Mikel Arteta can get the best out of this guy? Because that's a
Um,
different whole question
be
altogether.
honest, Tony. That is a yes and no question, and I'm going to give you a yes and a no answer. And
Mm,
no, reason why I'm not going to say no, right? Like he can't totally do something, but I'll be skeptical because we've seen
mm,
how he did Aubameyang, right? Played him out of position. I don't want Waneri to be victim of Arteta's, trust the process phase 75 bullshit, right? I want to just get him on the pitch and let the kid express himself, right?
mm,
If you're going to put him out there as a central attacking mid, let him do his thing. Don't try and make him play out wide or play a little bit back. Oh, yeah, back up. Oh, back, start waving flags like you're
yeah.
waving in an airplane, right? Just
Hmm.
coach the team and let the kid do his thing. He'll get the ball, he'll
Yeah.
spin around, he'll do fancy stuff. And like I just wanted to say before, Odegaard needs to take note because Odegaard's got tricks and flicks. But like you said, he's not as fast as this kid. He doesn't do the motions as fast. And I
Yeah.
think you know what I mean, right? Odegaard get the ball.
No.
He's quick. Don't get me wrong, but he does not have that burst of pace that Waneri does that he has demonstrated in the last couple of
Mm,
games. If Odegaard could do what Waneri does in the box, then I think we're looking at a different class of player in some instances. Because I think the difference between Waneri and Odegaard is that bit of pace, like you mentioned, is that bit of
yeah.
speed and IQ in the box, right? Mr.
Hmm.
Sullivan saying he's finished. You know, what if this injury really lingers on? What if
Lingers
he's
on, right?
seriously on the bench come the January? We're going to have some questions that need to
Hmm.
be answered. And like you said, like I said, I mean, there's certain games he can cut open a defense on any given day, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, Waneri just adds this burst of speed that we don't often get in the
That
box. That
box
Saka kind of used
really
to do under Emery at times, right? But I keep saying Saka's one dimensional. If he's
Mm,
not putting it outside of his, far post with his left foot, I don't know, right?
exactly.
But
But
when I talk about
one
Saka,
is more
right?
dynamic. He has some trickery to his
Right.
game. He has some
But
trickery to his game.
that's
He's a
what I don't want
dynamic player.
and that's what I don't want
Mm,
coached out of him, right? I don't want like Arteta to give him assignments, right? You're going to do this, and right, just let the guy play. If you're going to play a 4-2-3-1, which is the formations he's used now, I think in the last 3 games, then let Waneri cook. He may have gone to a
mm,
4-1-4-1 today with Waneri coming in and had just Jorginho protect the back four. But regardless, it's like we see speed, we see athleticism. Can I don't know how tall this kid is. Can we groom him into a striker? Right?
mm,
That's something to think about as well. Would you let's say we got what, Preston coming up? Wanari up front? Is that so
mm.
bad? Is that a real
Yeah.
is that something you don't think is really visible? Wanari as our striker against and I'm going to say against Preston in the cup on one area up
No,
front, or
no,
can he
I
use him
think
in the midfield?
that would be a long reach for the young
Mm,
kid.
true,
Even if I do want us to trust the guy into the games, because I still do feel like our midfield is still lacking some bite, just a little bit of bite, but it, I want us to sparingly use him sometimes to just, um, just show up some stuff that's going on in our midfield, but do it in a very measured manner, not overplaying him, not overusing him, just
but what do you
measure it
consider
in a way.
overusing him? I mean, some say Arteta doesn't play the youth. So, right? I mean, so what's really
I want
overusing
them
him? I
playing,
mean, if
but
he's
I don't
17,
want
18
them.
years old,
I don't
he's
want
ready to
them to be
play, you know?
susceptible to injuries and be vulnerable to injuries. Because while we're also
Mhm.
trusting him in, we should also know that we're in the most competitive league in the world. These
True.
guys will kick at you. These guys will want to injure you. Just look at
I think
Rodri.
he knows
He's
that.
down and out.
He probably knows that, bro.
I mean, I don't want this kid to be injured.
He's
Look at Emmy
right.
Smith Rowe in the football club, injured all the time. Even Charlie
True.
Patino, before he started being loaned out to all these teams, we pushed him, trust him into some certain games. He got injured, and then we started loaning him out to different clubs. And now look at his career. Of course, I want us to use him at least, maybe after every 60th minute. If we're having a comfortable lead, or we
Do
do
you have
need him down there by a must in terms of we need to switch up the whole play, then we can bring him in after the
point
60th,
too?
70th minute. It's okay. But
Right.
not to just overuse him and overwork him and turn him
Well, I think
into an row. That's where I won't like it.
well, I know Tony, but the other side of that is he needs games, right? And I'm not saying throwing him
Mhm.
in against Liverpool and Chelsea, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, again, Preston North End, and not as a striker. I mean, fair enough. I know I was reaching for sure with that one, but you start to
That
think
was a
like,
big reach.
if this guy's that mobile in the box, right? If he's that mobile,
Mm.
aggressive inside the 18-yard box, there's
How
something
about
there,
behind the
right?
striker? How about behind the striker? I think he
Four
can
four
do it.
one one.
He can do a
Yeah, well,
lot
yeah, that's what he
behind
should
the
be,
striker.
right?
Exactly.
But I mean, but
Exactly
he's
behind the striker.
but right now, who do you? Okay, just put everything else aside. The Preston game, I know that's down a ways. Who would you want to
Hmm.
strike? Hey, start as striker, Jesus or Waneri?
I mean,
I
Jesus.
know he's not a striker. I know he's not a striker. I get that.
I mean,
So
games will come in thick and fast right now. Against
they are
Preston, someone like Jesus can be able to help us out. It's an easy game. Let's use him up in that area. And then when we have the bigger games, then
you
you
would.
know,
What about starting
then
Waneri just by chance as a striker against Preston and bringing Jesus on in the second half? And I'm talking
I,
Preston only. Lowly little Preston.
I just
You
think that
know?
would be too much. That would be
Okay,
too much of
okay,
a reach
okay.
for us. But for us to play him and starting behind Gabriel Jesus, okay, I'm all
Against
up for
Preston,
that.
yes, for sure. Yes, me too. I
Yeah,
agree.
but not as a striker that's pushing him
I
to the
just,
wolves and saying,
yeah,
"Hey, this is your new lord. Let him take over."
well,
Not like that. Not
when he when
come
he
on, man.
when he bags 4 goals, Tony,
Not
against
like that.
Ipswich, against Preston, you're gonna say, "Oh,
Maybe
I should
just
have put him up
behind the
front."
striker.
No, no, I get it. No, we're really excited
Maybe
about this
just
kid.
behind
That's
the
right.
striker.
And you did, and I think I speak for most of the chat, whoever's watching today. You did feel that
Mhm.
spark when he got on. You did
Oh,
see and feel
the
the
magic
like.
was there.
I knew we
The
were going to get
magic
a
was
goal.
there.
I knew we were going to get a goal when he came on. I just
So
knew
no, I
that
just knew.
someone somewhere is going to touch it like Trossard did. You know, something's going to happen. And of course it
Mm,
did. And I think he needs to be recognized for that because it is that little bit of spark. And it's a game like I think you've said it, assembled many people in our friends group and said, there is a
yeah.
game of moments, right? It's a game of moments. And we saw that today, right? I mean, we played them off the pitch, but they had their moments, but we had more. And we had better players, better fitness, and just overall more organized. Um, I I was happy to get the 3 points today overall, Tony. And
Yeah.
Waneri was just the spark we needed to get the boys thinking again.
to get the bus tick again. See, again, because we have to go very soon. I have to leave you so you could, enjoy the rest of your day. But um, we'll go face PSG in our next matchup
Mm,
in the Champions League this time. Mind you,
yep,
the whole base has changed. The whole
yep,
structure has changed in the Champions League.
for
We
sure.
do need those wins. By the way, I'll be having a Champions League watch along with my guy Baggett. Join us
Oh, nice.
this week when
I'll
Arsenal
be
plays
watching.
against PSG. Yeah, me, him,
Wait,
even Josh will be with me on that show, and
oh, nice. Big up TG.
one slim guy like that. And, about
Well,
four guys, so we're talking about that Champions
that's a
League.
point too. I want to make about the
What should
Champions League as well. What I want to say about the
what should
Champions
we
League
be
room.
doing?
But
What should we be doing against PSG to get that
mm,
win? What should our lineup be looking like? What do you want to see? Do you want to see us throw in 180 down there, or let's just keep it conservative? Let's go with what we know, what we
yeah,
understand, and just
this could be a
try
really
and,
tricky
just
game.
understand and see what we can do with PSG.
Right.
How do we go for this PSG game?
Um, I think well, they're playing at our place, right? So first off, we have to get them on the back foot instantly. I think we need to score a goal in the first 15 minutes to kind of settle the nerves, and then I
Yeah.
just smell blood. I don't. I think if we rest on our laurels, if we sit back on our heels, they have without Mbappe, they still have Vitinha, who's a very very good player. I forget the mix of their midfield. Is it Renato Sanchez is in there, or is he? I forget. Is Xavi Simmons in there, or is he at RB still? I don't watch much PSG. I don't watch much French league, to be honest. So I couldn't tell you
Mm.
who's in their squad or not. But I know they have the Barcola kid. Um, yeah, I know the Barcola. I don't even know who their striker, Zaire, Emery Zaire, or something like that. So there's a
Hmm.
few names that
I mean, they
play, but
have Dembele. Dembele is down there, yeah. But of course, he's
oh
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
firing on all cylinders. But
Yeah,
they've got
yeah.
Dembele.
He'll be hard to go against. This is going to be a tricky team. It's going to be a lot more
Yeah.
difficult, I think, than Leicester. We're going to have to just, mind our P's and Q's a little bit more and just make sure that we're very organized.
Should we
But at
respect
the
them?
same time, I
Should we
think if we get a
respect,
goal in
should
the
we
first 10 minutes,
respect PSG?
yes,
Should we
I think
respect them? They're coming to the Emirates. Should we respect them, or should we just attack them?
yes.
Like,
No, we need
like,
to
what do you
respect
think
them.
should be the mentality
We need to
playing against?
respectfully attack them. We need to just attack with caution, right? You just can't get caught out like we did today with the James Justin goal, right? But
Mm,
it's not gonna, if they score a worldie, that happens. But I think more than not, they're gonna dribble up through the midfield. They're gonna want to play out through the midfield. And Luis
yeah.
Enrique is a very, very, very good manager, and he'll have them drilled and ready. But I just
It's
think
just
us being at
exactly.
home,
Mm,
I mean, Newcastle cracked them last year, even with Mbappe. Remember, I think they beat them 4-1 or something like that. It's St. James Park.
mm,
Um, but
mm,
then they got beat there. But that doesn't mean anything, right? Newcastle, PSG, that means
yeah.
nothing to us. But no, it's
Yeah.
just it's going to be a test. And again, Arteta needs to pass the freaking test. If we don't get through this, I want him out. If we don't win a trophy this year, I want him out. If we win just the FA Cup, let's say, I want him out. I want a Prem League or a Champions League trophy today. No, this season, no substitute. And I want to make another quick point about Champions League. And I was in a show, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and people were saying, "Oh, well, at Atlanta, they're good and so forth." And 1-1 was probably pretty fair. I say bullshit. Not only I agree with you, we have to win these games. We have to score goals because again, there's 6 teams, so goal differential could be the difference of not going through and through. It's one thing with 4
Mm,
teams, right? You can kind of say, okay, we can be in that top 2 because one of them is a real donkey and one of them we don't know about, right? And there's usually top 2 teams, right? But now you have
mhm.
6 thrown in the mix that draws ain't gonna do it, bro. Like we can't
Yeah.
draw our way through the Champions League.
To
That's
the
why
Champions League. win
him
has to
scoring
come either
7
way.
goals,
A win
we
has
got
to
to do
come.
the same. Right, right.
A win
Anyway, a
has to
win
come.
has to come, but the goal differential, I think, is that 4th point, right? So in reality, you really got to look at each game as almost 4 points. And I know that sounds weird because the goal differential is going to play a big part of it, especially when you see other teams putting 6, 7 goals up, right? And we draw 1-1. I mean, it's just,
Draw 1-1, win
and
1-0,
Inter is not
2-0.
going to be
It's
easy.
not gonna
PSG is
be
not going to be easy. If we draw PSG, we're over 2 points, right? There's 6 teams. We're only just 2 points in if we draw PSG. It's peak, bro. And that's what I mean. And again, I'm still fucking angry because we didn't do the business the transfer window to prepare for all these games. We could have held on, I'm sorry, to
And
ESR for one more season. As much as I wanted them to go, but we need players right now. We need players that are informed because our bench is horrendous. Shout out to the young ones on the bench, but that ain't going to be good enough against PSG and Inter and Liverpool coming up, right?
mm,
I don't
see,
know.
yeah, Argentinian. I'm still thinking about this Kai Havertz thing. Yeah. Kai
Yeah.
Havertz scored against Bolton. Am I correct?
Kai Havertz scored an own goal today off his shoulder.
No, no. Did he score
He
against
scored the
Bolton?
last goal. He scored the last goal. Yeah,
He
yeah.
scored
It was
against
just starting him.
Bolton, right?
Yeah, I think it was just a
He
little
scored
touch.
today, right? He also scored today, right?
Yeah. The last goal, the 4th
He
goal.
scored the last goal today. See,
Yeah.
it's beginning to run as a leitmotif. What I mean by leitmotif is this guy is actually scoring goals. It could be 1-1 per 2-3 games, but he's getting goals in. I- Like, do
It's
you think this could be a season where Kai Havertz
nuts.
could just miraculously just chip in 20, 25 goals this season? Do
No,
you see that coming?
no,
I know it's laughable,
no.
but again,
It is
no one is
laughable,
laughing. It's raking up the goal tallies. No, no, no. No
bro.
one is laughing right now because he's raking up the goal tallies. I mean, it's not coming in sporadically, right? But again, he's scoring goals. He's scoring goals. Oregon, what do you think? At least
I
in the
think they're
past two
here
games,
to
he
there.
scored 2 goals. In 4 games,
Yeah,
he scored
no,
about, is it not like 3 or 4? I mean, he's chipping in the goals. What do you think?
right. I don't think I don't think stumbling into the goalkeeper and the ball bouncing off your heel is considered a very classy goal. I don't know. It was pretty ugly, but a goal's a goal, right? I mean,
No, no, no. But
I don't
should
know.
goals be classy?
I'm
Should
gonna
it be
be honest,
classy?
Tony. I'm gonna be
Should
honest
goals
to
be
everyone in
classy?
the chat because I love each and every one of you, and I love you, brother Tony. I do not rate Kai Havertz. I just can't. He just looks lost out there still. Still.
Mm-hmm.
I
True,
just
true. I
his
get.
back to goal. He's jumping for no fucking reason. He's elbowing and just. I mean, I like the physical stuff, but I need a classy striker. I need a silky, classy, Henri-esque type striker. I need a Robin van
No, but
Persie type striker.
but again,
Kai
your
Havertz
football club
is
and your
bumping
manager
in
did
goals
not
with
do
his
that.
head, his shoulders, and his ass
See,
and stuff. Bro, he's scoring with everything but his fucking feet. It's just
Oregon, I hear
Tony.
you,
It's like
but
this. You see
your
the ball
football
coming to
club
him, and
did
he
not
looks
do
like
any
a deer in
business.
headlights.
This is the guy we have right
Just,
now. I mean,
he's
we're
fucking
left with
terrible.
him.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
He's like me trying to play FIFA 25, bro. It's just fucking not working. He's
I get you,
awful.
but again, wait,
He's
how many
just a
goals has he
big
got? Can
body.
someone put in how many goals Kai Havertz has scored this
He's got
season?
3 or 4. Tony, I will give you
No,
that.
all
But how
competition,
many
all
goals did he put
competition
in with
this
his
season.
ass or his heel or his shoulder? I mean, it's just
No, I hear
he's
you.
he's
I hear
frustrating
you.
to me, bro.
I
He's
hear you.
frustrating to me.
But again, the guy we like to slag off, Kai Havertz, has scored goals this season
And I'm not
better than
slagging him
Gabriel
off.
Jesus.
Just
No, no, no.
not
He
good
scored
enough
more
for
goals better
Arsenal.
than your faves. He scored more goals better than Martinelli. He scored more goals more than Gabriel Jesus. What are we talking about here? He scored more goals than Trossard this season. I mean, it's laughable,
You're
but
right.
you can't laugh this fact
You're
off.
right. You're right. It's laughable, and you spit facts. I don't know if he scored more than
I
Trossard.
mean,
Him and Trossard should be
no, I
even
think he
or
scored more than
about.
all competitions. He scored more than Trossard. I
I
think
think they're about maybe 3 or 4 each. I think they're even because
maybe
Trossard got two
even,
today.
maybe even,
I think they're even. I think Trossard has that's 4 or 5 goals. That's
maybe
like
they're
four.
even. It's possible.
Anyway, I
But
know. I
again,
know. Just is he's
come on,
right.
man,
I
he's
know.
at par with
Tony,
Trossard,
Tony,
who is a
Tony, you
deadly
bleed the
striker.
red and white. And Tony, you bleed the red and white. And you know deep down in your beautiful heart that he's not good enough. You know this. I know
Of
you
course, I
know
know.
this.
I've not said he's good
What?
enough. I'm only saying, no, I'm only saying that we're laughing at him now, but he's
Right.
getting goals. I mean, it, he's a
So did
meme
Darren.
right now, but he's getting goals. That's all I'm saying. I'm only just saying. I'm not saying
Yeah,
he's
I
the
know.
best player. I'm not saying this.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
getting
saying,
those.
hey,
No, I
man,
know.
he's the
In
guy
that
we're
retro,
laughing at, but he's
that
getting goals.
he's
He
doing his
has more
job.
goals than Martinelli
In that
and
respect, he's
Gabriel
doing his
Jesus
job.
combined
But Tony,
this season.
it's like he's not. But I know, bro. But he's not running on the through balls. He's not, fainting defenders. He's not rolling off shoulders. He's elbowing and pushing defenders, and then the ball happens to bounce kindly to him, and he gets a shot. He had a great shot today. The volley one was fantastic. It was a fantastic save by the
Yeah, the
Leicester
only
keeper.
one.
That was I mean, that to me, when he shot that ball today, he did that over. It wasn't really overhead, it's kind of a side aerial shit thing, but that to me was the Kai Havertz I want to see. Not the not the guy that bumbles in the back of the defender where it tips off his foot and hits the post and goes in. No, a pure fucking. When has he purely struck the ball, Tony? What goal? Show me a Kai Havertz goal this season where he's
No,
cleanly struck
are
the
we
ball.
now checking
Just
the beauty of goals? No,
not
all I'm
once.
doing is this what we've gotten into? Is this what we've gotten ourselves
I'm
into?
trying to.
The
It's been no
beauty of the
justice,
goal
Tony.
rather than the goal entering in there?
Don't
Did
have
your
all the
football
answers.
club buy any?
You
No.
don't have all
Did
the
your
answers.
football club buy any prolific striker? No.
No,
So
because
why
my
do you
football club
deserve beauty?
shit
You don't
sometimes.
deserve a beautiful goal because your
I
football
do
club
deserve it. I
did
deserve
not buy a
justice for my
classy
club. I
striker.
deserve
All I'm
justice to my
saying
club
is
with my football club.
we're
I deserve justice, my friend. See
just
ya. I deserve justice. See ya.
just
I need justice for my football club. Kai Havertz
see,
brings me no justice,
it's
Tony. He brings me no justice.
You see, look at
I
what
don't know.
Darren. Of course, you guys on this
I was
channel, you
going to
guys
say
know
like
that I
that.
like Darren. You guys know I like
Yeah,
Darren
no, he's a
Sullivan
real
very
one.
well. I apart from he being a real one, I really respect him as a man, as a person. I really respect
What's
Darren.
the best for this club?
Apart from football, the way he carries himself and the way he he just this character, the way he talks, the way he does things.
Fights for what
I
he
really
believes
like
in.
it. That's why I always watch his Instagram. He always posts some post game show stuff on Instagram and on Facebook, and I just really like his person. It's one of those guys. When I get back to the UK, I would like to go and have a pint with him and just have a drink or something because
Perfect.
he's a great guy. Big ups to you, Darren, man. And he says, yeah, Harvard will get 20 to 25 this season. I said, I said that at the start, but we need a plan B striker who is
Yeah.
mobile, not a
One
concrete
carry.
fence like Harvard. What do you say to what Darren Sullivan has just
Oh,
delivered to
I
us?
agree 1,000. I agree 100%. Well, 99.999%. Besides the Havertz will get 20 and 25 this season. 20 I can probably see because there are a lot of games. 20. I mean, he might overall this season. So I mean, yes,
Mhm.
but I do not think he's going to get that many in the Prem. Not even close. I would think
Not close.
maybe
I don't
half
think
of
so.
those in the Prem. Right. I mean, if Kai Havertz starts against PSG, which I expect he would, I do expect him to score. I expect him to score every time he plays the 9 role. Right. My point being is that I want I want him to shoot at the goal like he did today with that half volley. I want him to dribble, take it on the outside of his foot, set it up, and bang one top bends from just inside the box or just outside. I want to see real striker mobility. I want to see him take shots 25 yards out, right? That's, I mean, a real striker, not just someone with their back to goal, holding up the ball all the time, being physical with the center backs, which is great. I mean, that's great. And there's certain times we need that. But today we needed one to lash one top bends. And he's not doing that. He's not. Duran, what's his name? Johan Duran at Aston Villa is shooting outside of the box and scoring goals. He didn't cost 65 mil.
No, I hear
right?
you. I hear you, but Kai Havertz is not that guy.
National sides,
See,
14
the
years
fact
old.
you're throwing away is that your club did not do any business. So we're stuck with Kai Havertz. That's what we're stuck with. Yeah, we can't have Gyökeres because we didn't do good business. And no one is saying that this striker is a big time striker. No, we already know Kai Havertz was shit the first time he came in. We knew that. But all I'm saying is that, yeah, this shit striker, you know, for some reason is
4 shit goals.
is goal poaching. I mean, he's scoring with his shoulders, he's scoring with his arms, his limbs, his head. Bro, I mean, no DVR, but if he's scoring with all part of his body, man, bro, I'll take those goals. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but I've been following this club for 25 years, not as near as long as Darren Sullivan or Jez or any of the old schoolers, of course. But my point being is that I want to see real run of play goals. I want to see Kai Havertz get fed a nice through ball by Odegaard or one area, Rice or whoever, go around a defender and just pile drive one in the back of the net. And until he does that, I'm suspect.
He scored that kind of beautiful goal this season. That's what I'm saying. He's this kind of striker that it just confuses you. At one point, he scores a beautiful goal. The next point is just shit. That's who he is. He's a very, very unpredictable kind of guy.
The one nice goal. I want to see a real striker's goal, and you know what I mean. That's what I'm asking.
And I'm not go to the business in general.
And I'm still saying that he's a decent. He's doing fine. I want, like, you want more of Martinelli. I want more from Havertz. Right? I expect more. I expect more from him from Martinelli. I mean, he was playing in the German national team at 14 years old. Martinelli was cleaning the streets of Brazil. Let's be real. Right? Right? He was scoring goals at Bayer Leverkusen, and Martinelli was the third goal.
We're gonna clip this rant, man. We're gonna clip this rant, man.
What are we talking about here? Right? And Havertz, and and I get it. Keep in mind, Bargav is 25. Yeah. I wouldn't say he's a gem until you see him launch one into the top bins, go around a defender, right, set it up on the outside of his foot, Bargav, and blast one. That's what I'm expecting. That's what we need, right? We agree. I'm not disagreeing with you, Tony, right? I'm not. I'm just saying there's other sides to him that I think need a lot of improvement. I still think that you're right in that right now, hopefully he can start a purple patch and get a run of 9, 10, 11 goals. I'm all for it. But I think those goals will come ugly, right? And this is what we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? Even the Villa game and the Brighton game. Yeah, we beat Villa, and it was kind of ugly. We drew Brighton. It was kind of ugly, right? I mean, even against the first game of the season against Wolves wasn't pretty to watch. And it's not that I'm expecting, Madrista level tiki-taka, but I am expecting my striker to be able to connect to a through ball 20 yards out and lash it inside the 18-yard box and top bins. I don't think I'm asking a lot for that. Instead of his back to goal, being physical with the center back and hoping, again, hope strategy, that it works out in the midfield and our wingers can get something. And today there were days where Trossard was even ahead of Havertz in certain counters, right? That worries me as well. Your striker should be the first man. But, I mean, overall, 6 weeks, you're right. He's got 4 goals. Let's build upon that. Let's find the positives and build upon the positives, right? Because we really do have
I hear
somewhat of an
you.
easy schedule coming up, right? PSG is tricky. We should do the job against Southampton, and I think we have Bournemouth after that.
Mm.
So we
I
got
mean, you know what, yeah. The one thing I know of we Arsenal fans, yeah, sometimes we act spoiled at times. Kai Havertz is a striker that doesn't get injured. We don't even put this into consideration. Look at Gabriel Jesus. Every time he's always injured. If Kai Havertz goes down injured, yeah, and then we'll only have to resort to
Elliot.
Trossard in that number 9 position, we're in trouble because we know that, of course, Trossard can have his off days. Then we're in trouble. And of course, Trossard is not that guy to keep battling for 60 minutes. I don't think he's that kind of guy that will battle with players for 60 minutes, 70 minutes. He's
I
not
thought
that
he was a
guy.
battler
Kai
today.
Havertz
I
might be
thought
that
he was
one with the dark
a
art to
battler today.
actually. No, but does he do it consistently?
No,
Can he do it consistent?
no.
That's
I
another
don't think
bigger
anybody
topic
does anything
because it
consistently except
depends.
for Saliba Gabriel.
But again,
Nobody's
Kai Havertz
consistent
does
with our
this
center
thing.
backs.
But I, but again, Kai Havertz does this thing completely, you know, for 60 minutes, 80 minutes, 90
Okay,
minutes. If you want
he's
him to
he's a
do it, he can do it. So
he's a
I
very
mean,
strong
but
athlete,
again,
bro.
I
He's
hear
very
you. I hear he's not a prolific striker. I get that. But
yeah.
again, we should have done good business. We didn't do it. So, we fluffed our lines
Yeah.
in that one. Or again, what do you have coming up, man? And what's your
No, but
prediction for that matchup against PSG?
oh, that's the hardest question of the weekend, is it? Um,
Yeah.
gosh, this PSG, I'm gonna go 3-2. I can't see PSG.
Mm.
God, no, because I think he plays well. I think he plays Gabriel and Saliba. I don't see why they would rest against such a high profile club. So with that said, I got to go
Mm.
3-1. 3-1 the Arsenal.
3-1. Three
Hat
one
trick by
to Arsenal.
Martinelli. Yeah,
Oh
their
my
deep. I don't
goodness.
think their defense
You
is going to be. If we
completely
can,
disrespecting PSG.
but Newcastle beat them 4-1 or 4-0 at their place. PSG, I don't think are a very good European traveling team. I mean, somebody can correct me in the chat. I don't think they travel well in Europe.
Mm,
You know, yeah.
mm.
Are you laughing with me, Tony? Or
No,
are you
it's
laughing
true.
at
No,
me? Right?
I don't know.
Right? No, 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1. I
No.
think I am a believer that you build confidence after wins, and after that
Mm,
confidence it builds, right? So it's going to be home, which is definitely going to play to our side, and I really think 3-1. I think we have the ability. Hendon's saying 2-1, right? Okay, it's 2-1. Maybe we sneak that goal in like we did today at the end to make it 3-1. But I think there will be lessons learned from today, right? Arteta will go over the
mhm.
defense, go over the soft spots that we messed up today, and and hopefully
Yeah.
we correct things for Tuesday. But I think he plays a strong lineup. I don't think we'll see like this lineup that we did against Bolton for sure. I mean, Ray is
Mm,
obviously fine, so we're not going to see that young kid in there. And shout out Porter for against the Bolton game. Good job,
yeah.
young kid, 16 years
Good
old.
job.
I guess
No,
he had a
yeah,
standing
yeah.
ovation at his school. He went back to school the next day, and
Mm,
they gave him a standing ovation at his whole school.
mhm.
So that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
big up him.
Yeah. That's
But
that's
yeah,
that's
PSG
that's
are tricky.
that's huge.
Yeah, PSG are tricky. Luis Enrique is a brilliant manager, but I got to think we're going to build the confidence, and I think 3-1. But other than
Mm,
that, nothing else really going on. Tony, enjoying my weekend. Got my little raspberry lemonade. I'm going to watch some highlights.
yeah.
Probably play a little FIFA 20, FC 25. Um, get some laundry done. Hit a little bit of smoke on that Leicester City pact a little bit later. The Leicester City blunt is definitely getting hit later. But yeah, no, shout out to every
Oh,
single one in
man.
the chat. Darren Assembled, Hendo, Bargav, BX
Bargain.
Gunner,
Right. Hand on
here
Gunner,
to there.
the
Too
assembled.
many
I see
names to
you.
mention.
Big ups.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It really means a lot
Yeah.
that you guys are participating in this question. We try to get to everybody's question.
Here to
Hopefully
there.
everybody's question got answered. It's just it was it
Yeah,
was a it
Darren
was a
Till.
few moment today, Tony. I mean, I overall I wasn't impressed, but I if I was to rate it, I would give today a 6 out of 10. Even though 4
10,
goals,
right?
decent display, 6 out of 10. We cannot give up goals at home. Uh,
At home.
2-0
That's
up,
true.
that's completely unacceptable, and that
Hmm.
just really played on my blood pressure today. But at the end of the day, we got the 3 points. So thanks
See you
again, Tony.
guys.
Great show. Thanks for having me
Mm,
on. Really appreciate it.
definitely. Guys, catch me on Oregon Goonie, yeah, next week. Yeah. Man, Oregon Goonie will be talking because I pretty much just work with Oregon Goonie and the Sackers and TV guys these days on my channel. So,
Oh,
I'm,
good.
I'm, I'm completely okay with that because, of course, I have so many things doing. So, although I have Josh who always comes to my channel too. We had a show
Yep,
yesterday, great show
Josh.
yesterday with Josh. We talked about the same things and, lovely perspective with Josh. So, completely this season, I'm usually going to be working with Oregon Gunner and Josh. I might bring in some of my friends to band, sometime soon. It might be coming in soon too. So,
Yeah,
TJ also, Sackers and TV family, Flawless, and the rest of them. It's just nice to just have these guys around and do shows this season with you guys. A couple of times it might be possible for you to see me and Bagif on the watch alongs. I'll be working more with him this season in the watch alongs, and of course in some certain shows he'll be down here. He's a big friend of this channel, and also was the first guy to actually watch me on this channel. So shout out to Bagif.
nice.
We'll be down here with the Champions League matchup on Tuesday against PSG. So join me and Bagif for that one. He lives for Champions League night. He loves it. So we're gonna be down here together for that one. Me and Oregon gonna might pop in on one of these post game shows and also come back for our
Yep,
own show, the Dial and Club show this week. So let's see what we can set up.
yep.
After that PSG matchup, my brother.
Should
And
definitely have for you.
for me, uh, Oregon Junior, we are